Okay. So last time we stopped here only, no? Norma frontalis. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So in the last class, what we studied? We studied the bones of the skull, how the bones of the skull has been studied at the different levels, what are the sutures, how they are, and the other norma verticalis, how it is made up of, all those things. Now we will see the norma frontalis. So it means the front of the skeleton or the face. It is also called the facial skeleton. In this, what are the bones here? So that is, again we have a frontal bone. So there is a frontal bone, nasal bone, zygomatic bone. This is the frontal bone, nasal bone, and this is the zygomatic bone. And the large bone of the face is the maxilla, and then the mandible. Next, so we have a sutures here. So what are the sutures? So they are frontozygomatic. So what is frontozygomatic? It is the junction of frontal bone and the zygomatic bone. This is the suture, frontozygomatic suture. And then metopic suture. So metopic suture, as already discussed, it is very rarely present. Okay. Then frontonasal suture. So where it is? This is frontal bone and this is the nasal bone. So in between this frontonasal suture. And then zygomatico maxillary suture. So where it is? Here is the zygomatic bone and then this is the maxilla, this suture. So it is the junction of zygomatic and maxillary bone. And then internasal suture. What is internasal suture? This one. So it is the union of these two nasal bone. So it is the suture between the two nasal bone. And then intermaxillary suture. So it is we can't here this junction here, this bone, this is the suture. You got it? So it is clear here. Okay, so we'll go next. Next, again there are some many features are there, so where we can see in the front of the skeleton. So one is the what are the features we are seeing? So one is, it is glabella. What is glabella? So all those things we will study in the next slide. So in the next slide, what we'll study? Most prominent features and where they are present. So we'll go one by one. The general features of the norma frontalis, the facial skeleton. So what they are? They are two large openings. So what are the two large openings in the facial skeleton? That is orbital opening. These are the orbital openings. And anterior nasal aperture. So this is the nasal aperture here. So openings are the orbital openings, so the orbital cavities. They are also called openings or they are also called cavities. And frontal eminence. So what are frontal eminence? So these are the frontal eminence here. Here, this part. Here. So your forehead. So on left and right part of the forehead. So that is the most prominent part of the frontal bone, that is frontal eminence. Supraciliary arch. So what is supraciliary arch here? The supraciliary arch. This is 1 minute. Supraciliary arch above the medial two-third and of the orbital margin. This one. Here we have the supraciliary, supraorbital notch and supraorbital margin. This one. The upper part of the margin. Okay. And then what is glabella? The glabella I showed already. So this is the most prominent point here. This one. The most prominent part of the between these two supraorbital margins. So it is the median elevation between supraciliary arches in between these two areas. This one. So in between. So or else you can also remember the midpoint between your eyebrows. So in the point between the eyebrows, that is called glabella. So just in general terms you can remember. Produced by inflated frontal air sinuses. So why it is produced? So it is present because the presence of the frontal sinuses. Then what is nasion? So nasion means between frontal and nasal and internasal suture. It is an area. So what we told in this area, in this previous diagram. So what is nasion? So what is nasion? This area here, all this part. So it is the area between frontal bone, nasal bone and the junction of two nasal bones. Okay, that is called nasion. And supraorbital notch. Where the supraorbital notch is? This is the supraorbital notch. This part on the medial side. Okay. Whereas, what are the alveolar process? Alveolar process means, so these are the area where the tooths are present. They are also called alveolar processes. So where they are present? These alveolar process, they are present in the maxillary bone. So they are part of the maxillary bone, or they are also called alveolar sockets. And then canine eminence. So what is canine eminence? So it is an area just above the canine teeth. So elevated at the alveolar process of the maxilla produced by the canine teeth. So this is an area above the canine teeth. So that area is called canine eminence. Okay. Separates canine fossa laterally and incisive fossa medially. Okay. In between these two areas. Then anterior nasal spine. So where is anterior nasal spine? This one. Here. Yeah, I will show you. I will show you. Incisive fossa behind the incisor teeth, above the incisor teeth. So this is anterior nasal spine here. Anterior nasal spine. Here you have a So this is maxilla, and here canine. Here you will have canine fossa and then incisive fossa there. Okay. And zygomatico-facial foramen. So zygomatico-facial foramen means the it's a foramen present between these two bones and transmits zygomatico-facial nerves and vessels. Next. So this is the maxillary bone. So anterior nasal spine, and then the other parts. So this is nasion, what I told. Here you have a nasion. So what is glabella? Between two ciliary arches. This is nasion, and then frontal process of maxilla, all these things. Okay. Shall we go to next slide? Yeah. Here you have a zygomatico-facial foramen. This one. Next. So what you see in the lateral part. So most of the bones you already know. The frontal, parietal, occipital. So these three you already know. And which is the major one? The major is the other bones are the temporal bone, greater wing of sphenoid bone, and you will also see the nasal, zygomatic, maxillary, and mandibular. So all these bones are, when you see on the front side, the view is different. On the lateral side, the view is different. So most of the bones you will see in the front side and also in the lateral side. In the lateral side, among the common other bones, you see the temporal bones. Okay. And the sphenoid, this is the sphenoid bone here. Okay. Next. So what are the features you see in the lateral side? So again, as we described in the posterior part of the occipital bone, there you have some lines. These places will show. Show in the skull in Morgue. Moruge. What is this? See, all these parts you will see in the skull. Each and every part will be seen in the skull. Okay. Next, like, so there are the lines. So what are those lines? Anterior and inferior, anterior and posterior, or superior or inferior temporal lines. Like, so these are the lines here, temporal lines, superior and inferior temporal lines. You can see these prominent areas. So what is where it is? The superior or anterior arises from the zygomatic process of frontal bone. So from where it is coming? It is coming from the this is the zygomatic bone. It is coming from here, and where it crosses? It crosses the coronal suture. This one. It crosses the coronal suture to the parietal bone and becoming two curved ridges. So what happens? So while it is coming here, it crosses this coronal suture and parietal bone and then become two separate ridges. Whereas the posterior one, superior one disappear. So whereas in the posterior part, the superior one, the upper one will disappear, and where it crosses the squamous part of the temporal bone above and front. So here just remember these two lines. Okay, next one, external auditory meatus. So this we already discussed in the first lecture. So what is this external auditory meatus? Meatus means it is an opening. So opening, the outermost opening of an ear, okay, lies just below and behind the posterior root of zygomatic process. So where it is? This is the zygomatic process, behind the zygomatic process. Okay, zygomatic arch. So what is zygomatic arch? So it is arch formed by the zygomatic bone, formed by the zygomatic process of temporal bone and temporal process of zygomatic bone. So these are the two bones. It's clear here? Auditory meatus and zygomatic arch. Okay. Next, what is mandibular fossa? In the first lecture, someone are confused. So the mandibular fossa, so where it is lies? It lies in front of the auditory meatus. So in front of external auditory meatus and tympanic plate. So where it is present? It is present in front. So what is the area for this? So this is an area for articulation or the joint. So there it forms a joint. What is the joint? It is very commonly known as temporomandibular joint, or it is also called TMJ. What is TMJ? Temporomandibular joint. Okay. And then mastoid process. So this we already seen. So all these parts your last week you have seen in the video. So where the mastoid process is present? Where it is present? Behind the ear. Okay. So what is there? The mastoid process. So why it is called mastoid process? It is just like a nipple shaped projection at the lower part of the temporal bone. So this mastoid process, it is the part of the temporal bone. And then surface marking. So where it is? It is subcutaneous. Subcutaneous means easily palpable. We can feel on the skin. So we can feel it. Subcutaneous. So that part is called subcutaneous. Can be felt behind the auricle, the area where you are feeling. So what is that area called? Auricle, or the ear, behind the ear. It is more projecting in a male. So it is more projecting or more prominent in male side than the female. It also contains the mastoid air cells. So it is a space like frontal sinuses. So these are also the air filled spaces are there. And it contains mastoid foramen. There is a one foramen is there, that is called mastoid foramen and mastoid notch. It is here, S is missing. You write down the S. Okay, MAS. And then the styloid process. What is this styloid process? It is when you see the skull. So there is a one small spine-like structures. There is a small spine-like structure. It is called mastoid, styloid process. So from where it comes? It comes from inferior surface of tympanic plate of temporal bone and is directing downwards forwards, and then there you have a styloid foramen. So where it is present? Between styloid and mastoid process. I'll show here somewhere. So we'll see next in the next photo. We'll see. Here also you can see. This is the styloid process here. This one, the spine-like structure where it is coming. This one is this orange color. That is the styloid process. Here. Here also you see. This is the styloid process. Okay. And this is auditory meatus, and then this is mandibular fossa. So where you find the temporomandibular joint. Next, the another important structure, what you see, the pterion. So this you have seen in the video. So what is pterion? So this pterion is the junction of four bones. So what are the four bones here? The frontal bone. So one is the frontal, parietal, the temporal, and zygomatic. Sorry, greater wing of sphenoid bone. All these bones, this area, it is called the pterion. It is the site of meeting point of frontal, parietal, temporal, and greater wing of sphenoid. And it is a H-shaped articulation. You can see here. So how it is? It is H shape like this. Okay. So this is the junctional place from how it is at what exact area it is present. And then this is one of the important structure. What is the important structure passes there? The middle meningeal artery. The middle meningeal artery passes behind this area, and it is a site of anterolateral fontanelle which closes around the birth. And this area is very thin, as it is already explained in the video. You can see the same thing in the video. This area is very thin, and what structure passes behind this? The middle meningeal artery. Next, asterion. What is asterion? This we already discussed. Again here, asterion, it is a meeting point of three bones. So what are the three bones? So one is parietal, occipital, and mastoid. This one. This is parietal, the occipital, and the part of the mastoid. This area is called asterion. And then it's the site of posterolateral fontanelle. Posterior and lateral. This is posterior part and lateral. It ossifies from 3 months after birth. Ossification. Ossification means what? So it joins together. It becomes a complete bone. What we see here? It is not complete bone. See here. This is the adult bone. This is the fetus. Then, what is temporal fossa? What is temporal fossa? Fossa means it's a large space. The temporal fossa means it's a space present in the temporal bone or below the temporal bone. or it is a part of the side of the skull. This area. This area. Okay. What are the boundaries here? Superior temporal line. See, from here, this superior temporal line. And then below, what is below? The zygomatic arch. Zygomatic arch and infratemporal crest of greater wing of sphenoid bone. So this one from here. So this is the superiorly and then below. So what? Below the sphenoid bone and the zygomatic. Here is the zygomatic where I am telling. Now this area. Okay. And then laterally zygomatic arch here. This is the zygomatic arch. And medially what you have? So medially there is a frontal bone, the parietal bone and greater wing of sphenoid and squamous part of temporal bone. All these are the medial side. So this side, medial side. Anteriorly, frontal process of zygomatic bone and zygomatic process of frontal bone. Okay. So it is clear now, temporal fossa, how it is formed. You should remember all these boundaries and the structures forming these boundaries. Okay. Then what is infratemporal fossa? So what we studied first, so that is the temporal fossa. This is the temporal fossa. Infratemporal, infra means the fossa below this part, this area. What we studied here first, in the previous slide we studied this part, the temporal fossa. Infratemporal means below the temporal bone. So boundaries, superiorly again it is the same, greater wing of sphenoid and infratemporal crest. This one, greater wing of sphenoid superiorly and infratemporal crest, this line. Okay. And then anteriorly, maxillary tuberosity. This is the maxillary. Here, somewhere here, it will come the maxillary tuberosity. And medially, what you have? The lateral pterygoid plate. This one, this part, the lateral pterygoid plate. Okay. And pterygomaxillary fissure. This one. Fissure means a space. And then what you have laterally? So here the mandible is not there. So when the mandible is there, you should remember the ramus of the mandible is on the infratemporal fossa. So where it is communicating or connecting? Anteriorly, it connects with the orbit here. There you have a connection. And medially, pterygopalatine fossa, this area. Okay. So these are the connection and boundaries of the infratemporal fossa. So what is pterygopalatine fossa? It is a space between pterygoid plate and the palatine bone, palate. So what are the boundaries you have? So the boundaries, there are the posterior surface of maxilla, anterior laterally, and posteriorly pterygoid plate of sphenoid bone, and medially it is palatine bone. So all these are the features I will show. So when you see in the practical, in the lab, I will show all these areas, and also you can remember when we see these bones, it is more easier to remember. So where all it is connected? So anteriorly it is connected with again the orbital cavity, and posteriorly it is communicating with middle cranial fossa and foramina lacerum to the pterygoid canal. So here you remember where all they connected, and laterally it is connecting with infratemporal fossa and medially to the nasal cavity. Why these communications are required? So why we are studying in detail of all these communications? Because the face is a very smaller structure and it has lot of connections. So one or the connections, they are connecting each other. So that is why if any small thing happens, so almost all the structures of the faces are involved. So if there is any damage to the near the area of the eye, so this area, why I am telling the communication? So suppose if you have a damage here, if any muscle is damaged, at the same time this area is connecting to the orbit. So that is why you should know these communications. Here, this area, this is the temporal fossa and infratemporal fossa. Okay, I told in the previous picture there is no ramus of the mandible. So here now the mandible is present. Here you see the lateral boundary is formed by the ramus of the mandible. Okay. Next, the another important topic of the skull is, that is the base of the skull. The base of the skull, it is very important. So where you see the most of the structures and so many foramina, and you should remember the structures coming from each foramina or each hole, because all these are very, very important. The norma basalis, outer view of the skull base. So that's why it is called basalis. That is the study of the base of the skull. So it has three parts separated by two imaginary lines along the posterior margin of the hard palate. So in this here, like this, it is the front part, middle and posterior part of the base of the skull. Okay. The anterior part of the norma basalis. So what is the anterior part? Bony or hard palate. So which is the anterior part? This one. Okay. So what is there in the hard palate? It is so what are the boundaries? The hard palate is formed alveolar process of maxillary bone. This is the alveolar process of maxillary bone. And what is there in the posteriorly? Posterior border of horizontal plate of palatine bone. This one. This is the palatine bone. So what are the bones they are present? So one is the palatine process of maxilla and horizontal plate of palatine bone. So these are the two bones. It forms the hard palate. Okay. Which are the two bones? This one and this one. And what are the sutures? So what suture you are seeing here? This is the suture here. This one. What is the suture? Median palatine suture. This one. This is median palatine suture, and then this one is transverse palatine suture. What is transverse palatine? Median palatine suture means, so it is a junction between two palatine bones. Okay. The transverse palatine suture, it is a junction of palatine process of maxilla and zygomatic horizontal plate of palatine. So it is clear here now. You understood these two sutures? Okay. Next, what are the other features? Okay. So what are the openings? Incisive fossa. What is incisive fossa? It is a fossa or an opening present here. This one. This is the incisive fossa. Anterior end of the palatine bone. So what structure passes through it? Behind the incisor teeth. Okay. It is where it is present. It is behind the incisors and fossa, or it is also called incisive canal. And then palatine groove. So palatine groove, it is the rough portion or the rough portion of the palate on each side of the bony palate, front of the greater palatine foramen. Okay, just remember the palatine groove, this one. And then greater palatine foramen. What are greater palatine foramen? So these are the large holes present in the palatine bone. And palatine crest. What is palatine crest? So this palatine crest, it separates greater palatine foramen. Here you just remember these names, that's all. Okay. So most of the things you will get confused. So to avoid all these things, you just remember the incisive fossa, palatine groove, greater palatine fossa, palatine crest, lesser palatine foramen, maxillary tuberosity, and posterior nasal spine. You remember these headings. Okay. So further thing, you just go on reading and identify. Okay. So it's clear here, because most of the times you will get confused. So to avoid confusion, so you just remember these words, and these things we will discuss in the lab, and then you will understand better. Okay. See here. So here you can see the incisive foramen and then palatine foramen. So these are the palatine foramen, and then internal areas. So what you are seeing, pterygopalatine process. So this is the area where pterygopalatine fossa is present. Okay. Now what we studied here, so we studied the anterior part, so that is the palatine part. So next is the middle, this part. Next, in the temporal bone, what you have? Foramen lacerum. So these foraminas are very, very important. You have to remember these foraminas, these structures, and what are the structures coming through these foraminas. Okay, foramina lacerum. So where it is present? At the apex of the petrous bone, and then mandibular fossa. We already discussed what is mandibular fossa. So where it is the articulation of the mandible, and then tympanic plate. So this tympanic plate of petrous part of the temporal bone. So where you have the external auditory meatus, and then there is a carotid canal and the jugular canal. So where these canals are present? So in the theoretical part, you have to read all these things. So where they are present, so what is the importance of this? So when you see in the lab, so it is more easier to understand all these structures. Okay, carotid canal opens in inferior surface of petrous bone. So whereas the jugular fossa behind, so where it is present? It is present behind the carotid canal, groove for auditory tube. So what is auditory tube? So where you are seeing the external auditory opening present. Here you can see all these are the foramina. So here foramina oval, foramina spinosum, foramina lacerum, and then what you have? Foramina lacerum first here. So where is foramina lacerum? Here you see the foramina lacerum, and then there is a behind this. Here lacerum, behind this you have a carotid canal. So where the carotid artery passes in this. And next behind this there is a one more large opening that is called jugular foramen. In front of jugular foramen there is another foramen. It is called styloid foramen. So where it is present? Behind, between the styloid process and the mastoid process. So right now it will be more confusing for you. Okay, just listen what I am telling. Okay, so once you come to the lab and then when you see all these structures, it will become more easier. Okay. Then what is pharyngeal tubercle? So where this pharyngeal tubercle is present? In front of foramina magnum at basal part of the occipital bone. What is foramina magnum? It is a large opening of the base of the skull. Where it is present? In front of the foramina magnum. So here you have a pharyngeal tubercle. And then spino-occipital joint. So don't worry about this. So leave this one. And then pterygoid canal. So what is pterygoid canal? It is at the root of pterygoid between the spinopalatine fossa and foramina lacerum. In between these two bones, the area is called pterygoid canal. And then the next, another part is omerovaginal canal. So where it is present? Between the vaginal process of medial pterygoid plate and ala of the vomer bone here, these areas. This is the vomer bone here. What you are seeing? The vomer bone in between. So here, this area, you will find the vomerovaginal canal and palato-vaginal canal, or it is also called pharyngeal canal, between the vaginal process of median pterygoid plate and the palatine bone. See, now these are the phenomena you have to remember, or you have to by heart everything. So here the foramen oval, foramen lacerum, and then the carotid canal, and then the styloid foramen. I told. So where is styloid foramen? This is the styloid process, and then this is the mastoid process. In between this, okay, and then jugular foramen. Carotid canal is front. Behind this, you have a jugular foramen, and then the foramen magnum. Okay, and then just now we heard. So what is that? Pharyngeal tubercle. So this is foramina magnum. In front, there is a small elevation that is called pharyngeal tubercle. Okay, we'll go to next. So next, I told in the anterior part. So what is the how the norma basal is divided? This is the anterior, the middle, and posterior. Okay. Now it will become easy to understand what all the phenomena they comes in the anterior part, middle part, and posterior part. So in the anterior part, incisive foramen, greater palatine foramen, and lesser palatine foramen. And then you have to remember, or you have to by heart all these structures. In the exam, we can ask anything. Okay? Because these structures, they are very, very important throughout your dentistry. Okay, you should remember which structure is coming from which foramen. And same as next. So what are the foramina there in the middle portion here? In the middle part, so it is formed by which bones? The formed by vomer bone, the occipital bone, and sphenoid bone, greater wing of sphenoid bone, and then the temporal. So in the temporal, so these are the subdivisions. The petrous part, the styloid process, and mandibular fossa. All these areas. You got my point? So what you didn't understood? These are the bones, they are forming, in a simple term, these are the bones, they are forming the middle portion of the base of the skull. Okay, what are the bones they are forming? They are the vomer bone, the occipital bone, the sphenoid bone. Which part of the sphenoid bone? The greater wing and palatine process. The greater wing of sphenoid bone and the palatine process. And next, the temporal bone. Okay. Next, what are the openings present in the middle part? One is foramen oval. This is foramen oval. So why it is called oval? Because it is in oval shape. Foramen spinosum. Why it is called foramen spinosum? So it is the foramen present behind the spine. Okay. Foramen lacerum. Okay. And then the carotid canal. So why it is called carotid canal? Because the carotid artery passes in this foramen. And then styloid foramen. The styloid foramen behind the styloid process. Okay. And then these are the structures you have to remember. You have to by heart. Foramen oval, spinosum. So what are the structures passing through these foramen? Okay. It's clear here. Same as in the posterior part. So what are the structures or what are the bones forming in the posterior part of the base of the skull? So what are the bones? So they are the occipital bone. So which part of the occipital bone? So that is the squamous part, the lateral part, and the mastoid process of temporal bone, this part. Okay. And what are the openings? So what you have? So you have a condyles. So what is? These are the condyles. So what these condyles for? It joins the vertebra. Okay. And then anterior condyles and posterior condyles. And then what are the openings? The jugular foramen and foramen magnum. This is the foramina magnum, and then this one is the jugular foramen here. And then you have to remember these structures. What are the structures passing through these foramen? Foramina magnum. What is medulla? So this is a very common structure. What structure passes in the foramina magnum? Medulla oblongata, then continues a spinal cord. So anterior condyle or hypoglossal canal, and then the jugular foramen. So what are the structures passes through these? Remember, you have to by heart all these structures. Okay. Again, I repeat, all the foramens and all the structures passing through each foramen. You have to remember. Okay. Next, all these pictures, they are the same. So here, how the base of the skull is divided. It is divided into anterior, middle, and posterior part. So now you remember. So what structures comes in the anterior part? And then what are the openings present in the middle part? In the middle part, foramina oval, and then spinosum, carotid canal, and foramen lacerum. And then in the posterior part, internal acoustic meatus. What is internal acoustic meatus? Internal acoustic meatus means the inner opening of the ear. And then you have jugular foramen and then hypoglossal canal. So what is hypoglossal canal? So it is a passage for hypoglossal nerve. Okay. And these are the other openings. Optic canal. So optic canal means optic nerve and optic. It's a area for passage of optic nerve and artery. And then internal acoustic meatus, inner opening of the ear. So what structure passes here? The facial nerve, vestibulocochlear. So this is the nerve which supplies us for the ear, and labyrinthine arteries, supraorbital fissure and infraorbital fissure. So this we have seen in the video. So what is that? If this is the orbit, so there we have the supraorbital fissure. Okay, this is supraorbital fissure, and then this one is the infraorbital fissure. Okay, you got it. The same explanation is there in the video of the skull, what I have shown in the last. And then mental foramen, the structure. So what structure passes through that? The mental nerve and the vessels which are supplying for the mandible. So it is clear here. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. So any doubts? Okay then.